What's up, everybody? Welcome to Call the Damn Leads, the show by sales professionals for sales professionals. I'm your host, Drewbie Wilson, with more than 2 decades in sales. I've seen it, lived it, heard about it, and now I'm bringing you this show because of all the crazy sales stories that go on in this industry and for the people involved. And one of the things that I love most is the community of people that I meet in sales because it brings together all different walks of life, all different personalities, and every single person I've met has an incredible story. Today's guest, definitely no stranger to having an incredible story. He is someone that I know has survived crazy health scares and has also gone on to build an incredibly successful real estate investing business. He's my friend, Mr. Travis Wells. What's up, brother?
What's up, Drewbie? Thanks for having me, man. I'm stoked.
I'm stoked to be here with you, man. I know that we've been friends for a little over a year now. We've been connected, and to see how much you've grown and accomplished in the last 12 months, man, nothing shy of incredible. But before we get into your story, I want to get right at it, bro. Tell me a crazy, crazy sales story, and I know you got a few.
Man, crazy sales story. I've been selling my whole life. Craziest, I don't know what the craziest would be, but I'll give you pretty interesting sales stories. And I haven't closed this one yet, but it's actually recent and it's pretty nuts.
Come
So
on.
there's a lady that is facing pre-foreclosure on a home, and we negotiated a deal with her to sell her home and pretty much net a certain amount. Whatever she needed a certain amount, we're gonna get whatever over we can get her that she needs.
Mm-hmm,
Similar to
mm-hmm.
like a net listing. But anyways, she has a car wash business too, and she is in a big bind. So we're working on partnering with her right now on netting a certain amount, a lot of money on her house, and buying her car, partnering with her on a car wash as well, so we can help her whole situation. So we not only get the real estate deal, but we get the car wash also. So that's
Mm.
happening right now. And it's really, we're just trying to structure a win-win for this lady because she's about to lose everything she has. So instead of doing that, we're going to make her some money and we might gain a business and a house out of it too. So I thought that was pretty cool to mention because it's an ongoing deal right now.
You know, that is cool. And I think what's really interesting about that, and one of the reasons I love, following your story and your podcast, especially, is the creative ways that you go about finding business and creating opportunity. Man, you're involved in like mobile home parks and all kinds of crazy real estate deals. And this one, obviously, no different. And what I know about you and appreciate, and I hope that the listener takes to heart, is the thought process behind making it a win-win for everybody. I know in real estate, there's always this mentality, not always, but a lot of people have this mentality of like, I got to get the lowest price so I can make the most money on this thing. And yes, you're in the business to make money. And yet I've seen you craft some super creative deals where you maybe take a little bit of a financial loss up front, but man, some of the stuff that you've created on the back end, absolutely massive. What was it that got you into real estate and going that route in life?
Yeah, man. Ever since I was a little kid, I was like building houses. My granddad was a landlord slash slumlord, and so like lower end properties is what I knew and what I grew up around. Driving like a little beat up truck in the back of it with the workers, and I was a little kid, and like they just dropped me off, and I'd be the painter, the sheetrocker, or whatever I was that day. And I kind of grew up around that. So I was always like the workhorse grunt, got paid by the day with everybody else. And, later on, when I did have some financial stability in the corporate world, ended up saying, man, I know this real estate stuff. I don't like being on a fixed income. Maybe I should start investing early 20s and just, all down and uphill from there.
Well, yeah, the real estate game certainly comes with its share of ups and downs, no doubt about that. I mean, you've posted about some of the deals where it's like, I don't know, looked real good. Turns out this is a big lesson. A very expensive one, but a good lesson. Let me share it with you. And that's one of the cool things about your show and your podcast is that's literally just you sharing your story, talking about what you're actively going through so that people who are in the world of real estate investing and wanting to learn or see how it works can follow along, man. That's awesome. And you mentioned something, having a W-2 position, having that strong corporate background. And I know you just recently in the last year or two made the decision to step away from corporate and build all in on your business. What was that like for you? I know there's probably some listeners that are thinking that same, like, maybe I'm making good money in sales, but maybe I want to go all in on my own thing. What was that like for you?
And you had a big contributing factor to that. But I was man, I didn't have any formal education like a lot of people that probably listen to that are salespeople. They didn't really confine to those they
Hmm.
just hated school, good at talking, wanted to get good at talking and learn how to make money doing that. Man, when I was in corporate, I kind of followed the same path. I sold, $60 million in oil and gas, no background, anything in it. Came up driving an 18 wheeler, and then they sent me to an engineering school that was in house. Ended up becoming an explosive engineer. Was gone for a long time out in the field. Decided, man, I kind of want to be like in civilization after a few years, not seeing people and stuff. Working 24 hours around the clock, wiring explosives, blowing stuff up. And then I said, let me sell something. Like, I'm sure I know this stuff. At the time, I didn't know, but I was one of the best in the world at what I did. And so when I wanted to sell, it was easy because when I got to talking to these engineers, they were like, holy hell, this dude knows what he's talking about. Sold a ton and then ended up working up to the vice president of that company. And it just it was always the golden handcuffs, and it's like,
Hmm.
hey, here's more, here's this, here's that. And it's damn, join, Apex, Drewbie, you sold me, but but it's what I needed, and like a sell is that's what a sell should be, and that's what I believe. A sell should be what somebody needs and wants at that time,
Hmm.
and just kind of followed that blueprint. It was like, been on my own 7 months, started a wholesale company, but I built a lot of real estate, big real estate portfolio in between that. So I started backwards. I was the buyer the whole time I was in oil and gas, just buying stuff. And because I made good money and opened my own company about 7 months ago, quit the W-2 job, which was scary as hell, but it quickly replaced. I mean, quickly, I was like, damn, that big ass salary and all that cush, like I replaced that very quick. But so that's kind of a little backstory there.
I love that though, and it's funny because I had that same experience of walking away from a very very nice position of a vice president of a company and being like, you know what though, as much as I love that business and would always go back to help that community and be there for them, that feeling of knowing, hey, what's possible if I do it, and I really go all in on this. There's
Yeah.
something to that, man, and I know the listeners that are in that position. It's like, hey, I'm making 250, 300 grand a year in my corporate position, and I got some benefits and this and that, and it's like, I don't know if I want to walk away from that, but man, there's that tug in your heart and you're like, yeah, but what if, what could
Yeah.
happen?
I think we're all wired to evolve,
Hmm.
So I think we do things until we don't, and that's how it's supposed to go. And for a little bit, I was like, why did I do that for so long? As soon as I jumped into my own thing, I was like, as much as stress is doing your own thing adds, but you cause the stress, all right? You're causing the evolution, you're up for the growth, like you're putting the pressure on you. Somebody else isn't doing it. So I think that's what's cool. So like people that, are on the fence, it's like we're only going to be here so long. We only got so many days. Like, why not try? I have a mentor and a coach. He's a billionaire, right? He's a freaking smart dude, and he used to call my salary a Section 8 voucher,
Damn.
and I was like, bro, like that's a
And
big
you
ass
made good
Section
money.
8.
Yeah, wait, hold on a second. That is.
Yeah, like I was the best, like one of the best in the world at what I did. And I made a pretty good living, And he's like, it's like a Section 8 voucher. And when he said that to me, it hit me. I was like, damn, he's right. So, yeah,
It's that decision to, and I'm going to say this lightly, but it's that decision to settle, knowing that you have more. And it's
yep,
one of the things that I love about you, Travis, is like you are not going to settle. You're a dude that's constantly taking, hey, what's that 1% edge that I can put on? What's that one little thing that I can do to make the difference? And your fitness journey is a great example of that. And we don't have to go too crazy into it, but like knowing the numbers, looking at the details, tracking and measuring, it fits so well with the real estate investing world that you're in now. And one of the things I always like to ask, as far as sales goes, if you had to pick one thing or one strategy that you would say is like your superpower, what would you say that is?
Transparency. Everybody sells different. Everybody's got their own style, their own charisma, characteristic, whatever. I feel like I have a lot of success in real estate sales because I tell them exactly what I'm trying to make. I tell them exactly why I'm doing it. I tell them exactly how it's going to work. And in sales, if people don't buy from you, it's because they don't understand or they don't like you for the most part.
Mhm.
I make sure the don't understands out. This is what I'm gonna make off you. This is what I need to make, and if you like me, great, let's do some business. If not, I've got other acquisitions people. There's nothing we can't do. We could pass you on to somebody similar to you. But I think that's kind of been like really helpful to me in sales in general.
I love that. I mean, transparency is a great thing, and having that open line of communication is one of the reasons that I see successful entrepreneurs and business owners like yourself continue to succeed, because it's just saying, "Hey, man, I don't need to make $1 million off of you. If I can make X amount, then that's great, and maybe we can do this multiple times." And maybe we can do, maybe you get a good experience and now you want to tell your mom or your aunt or your friend who has some similar situation. And now you're getting the benefit of, you did the right thing and it's paying off multiple, multiple, multiple times.
I had a very interesting conversation right before ours, and it's pretty lucrative deal that popped up, and it was from just posting my story on Facebook. Some dude sends me a message. Hey, I've got a construction company. We bought a ton of leads. We spent a lot of money. We aren't salespeople. We're flippers.
Mm,
And we watched every one of your videos and we like you. Can we pay for all the leads? And you wholesale for us for our company, not exclusively, but all the leads that we have, we'll give you the credentials. What would you
mhm.
charge us as a set rate per lead that you close? I said, how does $15,000 sound? That sounds great. So these people are paying for the marketing. I'm gonna I'm gonna
You're
charge
gonna
them
do what you do.
15,000 for what I'm doing already.
Mhm.
Everyone that we close, and not only a big part of real estate is finding somebody to buy the stuff. I already have the end buyer also. So, I think that's really huge too about putting what you're doing out there and being transparent.
That's such a great point. It's one of the things that I really go into in my book and in a lot of the trainings. Sales is great. You can be a fantastic salesperson. You still need to have people to sell to. So that marketing aspect and that getting that awareness, that know, like, and trust is so, so important. And you do such a great job. I mean, your social media game, chef's kiss, brother. You're doing a great. Again, I've seen you. You took the processes that you learned when you joined the community, the coaching, the mentorship, and said, all right, I'm just dumb enough to do exactly what they're telling me to do. So I'm going to go and do it. And the results are freaking exponential for you, to the point where you've now been able to create your own Property Profits podcast. You're going out, you've got a training program, you're helping young and up and coming real estate investors. It's just been so fun to watch. And everything that you're doing, the content that you're putting out, the value that you're providing, it's simply driving more opportunity your way. And all you do is just show up and do what you do best. You put on that beautiful little smile and you help people. And man, I have to say, I love to watch it, brother. I really do.
Thanks, man. Yeah, and just video it, like record it is what's interesting. So you don't have to do it twice. We're actually shifting some of our social media right now to be even more raw. Cause I was like, man, I'm tired of the studio stuff. Like,
Mm,
I don't want me to be talking to people. I want them to hear everything raw. And I kind of got a lot of kickback on it. And I'm like, but I started posting it all myself because I have a team, a media team. So I just started posting stuff myself. And the feedback was crazy. You're like, oh, I love that. I love that. This and
hmm.
that. And I was like, see? So now we're about to switch to just raw. I was like, I don't want any filters. I don't want anything. Like, people need to see exactly what goes down.
I really appreciate that, because I too have kind of the same mentality. It's like, I understand there's a level of production and quality that's important, right? It's got to sound good. I don't want to be squinting and like watching through cut up, crackly video. And yet, there's something to be said about social media was built to share real world like voyeurism. I mean, let's just be real about it. The dudes that built it were trying to creep on all the girls that they were trying to check out. But like now that we understand that from an intentionality standpoint, I love that you brought out it's like, hey, the real cut and production stuff is good. Yet some of this raw is what's really going viral. It's what's really taking off. And you're seeing it as a real example, real world. That's what this show is designed for, to share real world shit that's working and give people an opportunity to grow. And man, I know we could sit here and we could jam all day and I could probably talk your ear off. And we have a lot of fun things that we could, chat about. But if someone's here, they've enjoyed what they've heard, maybe they've learned a little thing or two, and they have an interest in real estate investing, or they're in the market for, trying to get deals or getting plugged into deals, what's the best way for them to come and find you on social?
Travis Clay Wells on Instagram. Facebook's my main platform, which I post on. I post on everything, but Facebook is where you could get a hold of me. Travis Wells, and then Travis Clay Wells on Instagram. Property Profits. It's a tongue twister. Is on all the major podcast stuff. We had a lot of really good guests on there. Brandon Turner from Bigger Pockets was there last week.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of traction, and everybody's just like sharing these crazy gems on the podcast. That would be somewhere where I'd say go learn too.
I love that. And I'll make sure that we put all that in the show notes so everybody can find it, man. And if you're here and you're hearing this, make sure you go check Travis out. Like I said, beyond just the real estate stuff, this guy is an absolute gem of a human being. And he truly does just create content that will give you value and allow you to go and create a lifestyle that makes you proud. That's the thing about success. And what I really appreciate about you, Travis, is that your awareness of it is it's a perspective. What you see as your version is going to be different than what I see, and is different than what your clients are seeing because of the situation they're in. And yet you always are focused on making sure it's a win-win for everyone involved. So if you guys are here, make sure you go check Travis out. Now, before I let you out of here, brother, I always like to ask this because there's new people in sales coming in every day. Like you said, there's people in a comfy W-2 job right now that are wanting to explore entrepreneurship, and sales is a big part of that. So if you could give them one piece of advice on how to be successful in sales, what would that be?
I think to be successful, you've got to be passionate. You've got to believe in what you are doing or want to be doing. And that's one of the hardest things to figure out for people, is to figure out their why and why they were put here and what they're supposed to do. And I think you can only excel to the point that your perspective allows you. So I think self work would be the first thing I would recommend, is because your team that you're going to eventually have is only going to be as good as you are. And I think
Mm.
that it all starts with self development. So I'd grab some of the top self development books, make sure I understood them, and then figured out what makes me tick and what makes me excited, and I'd go sell that.
Man, that's a gem, brother. It's so much easier to sell something that you're passionate about or that brings you some sort of level of joy because you're going to put that much extra effort and appreciation into it. So I love that advice. I really love and appreciate you taking the time to be here, man. I know you're out there making 6, 7 figure deals, just dominating the world right now. Your Property Profits podcast is going crazy with all the amazing guests. And so I am truly honored and grateful to have your time, to be here with you, and to know that, hey, man, if I ever need anything, you're right there in my back pocket because that's the kind of man you are. So thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. If you guys are listening, make sure you go check Travis out. I'm going to put all this stuff in the show notes. More importantly, make sure you share this with your friends. Share this with another sales professional that you think could get value from it. Tag us on social media at Call the Damn Leads. And if you have a crazy ass sales story, if you've been in the industry for any length of time and you got something to talk about, head over to callthedamnleads.com/podcast. Send me your information. Let's talk about your story. I'd love to bring you on the show to share your crazy sales stories, maybe some gems for some tactics that people can take away. And as always, you guys know the deal. Get out there, call the damn leads. We'll see you on the next one.